or made available from the 5th of July 2018 up until the 12th of August 2025. The issue there, they say these buses may have been manufactured with a drag link that was not turketed correctly.
The Usindiso Building Fire Inquiry says the prevalence of hijacked buildings is driven largely by poverty and a lack of affordable housing. This is contained in the final report by the Commission of Inquiry, which was looking into the deadly blaze. The Gauteng government has been releasing the Commission's final report today. The inquiry was tasked with investigating the cause of hijacked buildings following the Usindiso tragedy, where 76 people died during a fire. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says the commissioners inspected 110 hijacked buildings in the province during their probe.
The investigation challenges the common assumptions that hijacked buildings are the primary problem. Evidence shows that only a small minority, 5.7%, of properties had allegations of rent collection by non-owners. The crisis is instead driven by extreme poverty and a severe lack of affordable housing, forcing people into unsafe living conditions.
Let's stay with housing matters. Gauteng Human Settlements MEC Tasneem Mutara is set to conduct oversight visits at several hostels in Johannesburg's inner city. Government has earmarked R500 million to renovate the 6 hostels under its control. Authorities say this will help to deal with the housing crisis in the province. Thando Luhlengcobo reports.
MEC Tasneem Mutara says the upgrades will focus mostly on immediate problems, including plumbing and electricity, overcrowding, and repairing infrastructure. Renovations are already underway in 5 out of the 6 hostels in Johannesburg under the control of the Gauteng government. Mutara says the provincial government is doing the upgrades to ensure that the hostels are habitable and conducive for living. Today's oversight visit will start at the George Koch Hostel, associated with crime and overcrowding living conditions, and end at JP Hostel. Thando Luhlengcobo, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Let's move to the Western Cape now, where about 500 foreign nationals living at 2 sites in Cape Town have been handed eviction notices. The occupants living at Wingfield and Paint City were relocated during the COVID-19 pandemic after being evicted from Green Market Square in the CBD. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says many of the occupants have moved from the site, but the remaining ones refuse to be relocated. Congolese national Emeka Mazimwe has been living at the Wingfield site for 6 years now. He says all the refugees want is a safe place to live.
Remember, we have kids going to school, we need hospitality, we need everything. We are human no matter we are refugee, but we still a human as others.
And in Singapore, police will be issuing a directive to tech company Meta, which operates Facebook, to combat scams such as those involving government officials. During the first half of this year, so-called government official impersonation scams rose by 200% from the year before. The latest clampdown will be the first directive issued to an online platform under the Online Criminal Harms Act. The act came into force in February last year. According to local reports, this type of fraud has cost victims tens of millions of dollars. Gold is trading at $3,531.58 an ounce. The rand is at 17.72 to the dollar, 23.68 to the pound, 20.61 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.95 a barrel.
Devland, heading into Eldorado Park, we still have those roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also traveling towards Soweto, there's an accident scene in the Bosmont area. This is N1 southbound. This is before Main Reef Road, causing heavy delays all the way from Gordon Road. There's in the Mother City, there's roadworks causing some delays on FW de Klerk Boulevard. This is outgoing, approaching Lower Church.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 30 and 31 degrees, while Cape Town is fine with a moderate northwesterly wind at a high of 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the National Consumer Commission has announced another recall of some popular vehicles due to safety concerns.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, Panyaza Lesufi relaunches the Nasispan program and a political task team in Gauteng. Shadrach Zabia is fighting his suspension in court. The controversial KZN dockets will be sent to the Madlanga Commission. We'll learn some hard truths about political party funding, and we'll speak to the National Consumer Commission on the recalls of some vehicles. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app. DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. I'm busy watching the Deputy National Commissioner, Shadrach Zabia, his lawyers arguing in Pretoria. He is challenging his disciplinary process and his suspension by the National Commissioner. All of this, of course, against the backdrop of what Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi in KZN had to say about the policing and Senzo Mqunu. It's quite complex. It's all very important. It's all about the capability of the police, how it is run, and public trust in the police. So this is really, really important. We'll take you to the courtroom in a short while, but let's start in Gauteng. The Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, has been holding a briefing today announcing the relaunch of the very controversial Nasispan program and the establishment of a SAPS political task team to tackle high-level crime in the province. So he's giving an update on that and a few other things as well. Let's speak to Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter, who's at that briefing. Tabiso, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Well, let's start with Nasispan. Just remind everybody what this is. There's quite a lot of noise where you are, so if you can maybe just step aside so we can hear you. But tell us again what Nasispani was, why it was controversial, and why it's back.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, Inasispani is a program that was devised by the Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi. So it's a program to train it's a program to hire unemployed youth on a temporary basis. We've seen that with the Gauteng traffic wardens, but there's also been a number of initiatives under the Nasispani banner. Now, obviously, the controversial part of it comes from the fact that, remember, these are temporary jobs, and in terms of the timing of when it was started just before the previous or last year's elections. So a lot of opposition parties said that the reason for these temporary jobs is because obviously the Premier, the Gauteng Premier, Mr. Lesufi, was trying to electioneer and trying to get votes from obviously the large numbers of unemployed youths in this province.
And it's back again, and we are expecting a local government election next year. So I'm sure some parallels were drawn there.
Yes, it is back again. It's now called the Nasispani Reloaded, Mandy. It's interesting this time around. So this time around, the Gauteng government said it has set aside 50 million rand. They are going to be training these unemployed youth in skills that are needed by the state. And how they're going to use these skills, Mandy, is that they're going to use them in some of the unfinished projects that the Gauteng government currently has. The Gauteng government currently has projects worth about 13 billion rand, Mandy, that are unfinished due to a number of issues. And what the Gauteng government said it wants to do is it wants to create its own internal capacity of artisans, plumbers, people who, even cleaners. And so obviously what it wants to do is create state capacity that might be needed in future, but also for those 13 billion rand worth of projects that remain unfinished.
Now, he's also announced the establishment of a police political task team to tackle high-level crime in the province. Explain this one to us.
So this one is very interesting, Mandy. You do know that we do have a KZN political killings task team. Now, the KZN political killings task team was established on one of the recommendations from the Moerane Commission. The Moerane Commission was looking into political killings in KZN, and as we do know that KwaZulu-Natal is the hotbed of political killings. So that's why a political killings task team was established in KZN. However, the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, while we do not have any sort of commission or recommendations for this establishment of a Gauteng political task team, the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi said, since 2010, whether it's political violence or even taxi-related violence, there's just been a number of high-level violence that has sort of gone under the radar, and it is now time that Gauteng gets its own SAPS political killings task team, so that these high-level crimes can also be investigated and have the proper resources, as we have seen in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, this is what Panyaza Lesufi had to say in terms of the stage of where we're at in the establishment of this political killings task team here in Gauteng.
The Provincial Police Department has confirmed that planning is already underway with this critical phase involving the development of a comprehensive project plan and the finalization of the team's precise terms of reference, including ensuring the appropriate allocation of necessary resources and personnel. This initiative represents a significant step forward, bolstering the fight against political violence, and the government of provincial unity support all these initiatives to ensure that there is peace and political tolerance in our province. We want to argue that within this political task team, issues related to taxi violence and the leadership of the taxi industry that has been killed in our province should not be excluded. We'll then have further discussions with the SAPS and all other law enforcement agencies to incorporate this.
That is Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi speaking there about the establishment of an SAPS political task team to tackle high-level crime in the province. My thanks to Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter, for that. Interesting. Do we need a political task team in Gauteng, I wonder? Or is this optics? Is it about the optics? We know how controversial it's been in KZN. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, speaking of the political task team, an agreement reached between the acting police minister, Feroz Kachalia, and the National Police Commissioner, General Fani Masemola, over these controversial dockets that were removed from the KZN political killings task team after its dissolution. So now those dockets are going to be submitted to the Commission of Inquiry, to the Madlanga Commission, because Masemola, the commissioner, initially decided to return those dockets to KZN, but Kachalia, the minister, was unhappy with that. And the minister also told Masemola that that he had revived this team without consulting him. So there's just, like 1 month in the job and there's already this tension. So at the end of their statement, they have agreed that going forward, there will be better consultations and regular reporting and a professional, collegial and respectful relationship between the two of them. Well, let's find out what all of this means. Dr. Chris de Kock is a crime and violence analyst and joins us now. Dr. de Kock, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, good afternoon and good afternoon to the listeners.
So the dockets are going to the Madlanga inquiry now. What does that mean for those dockets?
Well, just that. I mean, the dockets was taken from here, from Pretoria, headquarters, to KwaZulu-Natal. We had some confirmation this morning and even the days before that it is now in KwaZulu-Natal. And so now it will go to the Commission. And the Commission, as far as I know, will sit here whenever they start to sit.
What are they going to do with them? Are they going to investigate them? Are they going to hold them? What is the purpose of this?
No, I think when it comes to this Commission, they will have to look at these dockets, go through them, work through them, and then see that what General Mangwanazi said 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, that it is supported by what they find in these dockets. They may even find much more than what General Mangwanazi said. You see, docket is is a docket. It gives you information, and as information is added to a specific case, it will go onto the docket. So they will have to work through to see if what General Mangwanazi said is there or even more.
Okay, so all of this is playing out against the background of, firstly, the struggle between General Mangwanazi in KZN and the National Police Commissioner on the one hand and the Police Minister on the other. And then we've got in court today Shadrack Sibiya fighting his suspension. All of this tells us a story about the stability, the capability, how the police is being run. What do you think? What kind of impact do you think that has?
No, I think when it comes to the public, it has a very, very negative impact. I mean, people are talking daily. I talk to people daily, and they are all worried if this is the kind of fights and things that is going on, even between the political leadership and the police leadership. Where are we going? I mean, what impact will we make on crime, for example, on organized crime, which is even the bigger threat? If there is this disparity within in the higher echelons, in the highest echelon of the South African Police Service. So unfortunately, but on the other hand, I must say, after General Mangwanazi made has his press interview about 7 weeks ago, I think, and some arrest even followed after that. I think he had no other choice. He had no other choice. He wasn't listened to in the organization or by the political leadership. And that he then, out of frustration, said what he said at that news conference. And it seems, and this commission will now make the findings, that it may be supported. It may be the truth. And then we have to clean up the organization.
What are your thoughts on a political task team in Gauteng?
I think it's a good thing. I don't know if I don't actually know the extent of political killings in Gauteng, but there are some. But you see, the political task team in KwaZulu-Natal, because in their investigation they come to hit squads, because people are killed by hit squads. The old taxi squads, and they have evolved, and they now kill. They are out. You can rent them to kill your opposition. You can rent them to kill your business partner, whatever, even whistleblowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's a good thing, even if the name is maybe a little bit misplaced. I would have called it something else. Because I don't think political killings is as rife here as in KwaZulu-Natal. But it doesn't matter as long as they identify the hitman and then link this hitman to specific killings. Yeah. It may be political killings, it may be other killings.
Dr. de Kock, you mentioned that we need to clean up the whole thing. I mean, I've always argued that I think that we need an entire reset of the police service. What are your thoughts on that? How do we clean up the whole thing?
Sure, that will be very difficult because, you see, it's not something that you can switch off and say, I'm now going to clean the whole organization. We need a police service. We need an active police service and a very efficient police service given our levels of crime. But I think this commission is a good beginning. I think the allegations or the revelations of General Mangwanazi was a good thing. At least it's now in the open. And I think if this commission do their work properly, they will then identify most of the rotten apples, at least at the high level. And that is where then there should be action. And if General Mangwanazi and General Masemola is not part of this rotten apples, then at least there's an indication that we still have good officers. which can take the thing forward.
Dr. Krista Koch, crime and violence analyst, thank you very much for your time speaking there about what's been happening with those dockets. Remember, of course, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi making those claims in that press conference. Those dockets were then removed to Pretoria. They were then moved from Pretoria. They were to KZN. Now they're going to sit with the Madlanga inquiry. All of this has got an impact on the optics, the trust. And at the same time, we're watching as the Deputy National Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya, is challenging his suspension and his disciplinary process against the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola, in the courts. Let's take a listen in there to what's happening at the moment.
If I'm not mistaken, it was our current acting Deputy Judge President sitting as the High Court alone in the matter of Gordon versus the Public Protector. If you'll bear with me. Here we are. Gordon versus the Public Protector in the context of disciplinary proceedings. Because you remember the Public Protector's recommendation in that matter is that Minister Gordon must be subject to disciplinary proceedings. Minister Gordon then brought the interdict and the dispute in front of Justice Molopa Setosa, our current acting Deputy Judge President, is whether or not the interdict should be granted. And when the interdict was being disputed, then Minister Gordon, now the late Minister Gordon, had filed a review application, and prima facie in the interdict relied on the issues canvassed in the review to establish his prima facie right for the purposes of the interdict. And look at what Justice Molopa Setosa says. She says, the harm to Gordon speaks for itself. The harm would be irreparable if the interdict is not granted. Being prosecuted, disciplined, and investigated most certainly constitutes harm, and the harm may be irreparable and irreversible by the time the review application is heard, especially so if the review application is successful. The judge went on to say, there is no harm to the Public Protector or her office if the remedial action is suspended pending the review. This is not a final order, and if the review is to be unsuccessful, the remedial actions are to commence. This matter constitutes a clear case where judicial interference is warranted. The Public Protector and her office can fulfill her constitutional duties with the suspension order not interfering with them.
That's argument being heard at the moment in the High Court in Pretoria. A reference there to Pravin Gordhan, the late Pravin Gordhan, challenging his dismissal as well. So that's Shadrack Sibiya, the Deputy National Police Commissioner, challenging his suspension. So the respondents there are the National Police Commissioner, and I imagine the Police Minister as well. We'll get an update on that. But all of this is just so messy. It makes the whole thing so opaque, where you've got one commissioner making allegations against another commissioner getting suspended, and wada. It doesn't exactly inspire confidence in the police.
Good afternoon, Mandy. I think it's also important to highlight that only the copies of those 121 political killing cases will be sent to Madlanga Commission, but the originals will still stay with the KZN team. So only copies of those dockets will be sent to Madlanga Commission.
So we defund and understaff the women and child protection units, but we are now funding political violence units and spending all this money on special protection for these people. Does seem like the priorities are a little bit distorted at this point in time. Mark Randberg.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
For news on South African industry and mining, Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly has you covered. Click through to Creamer Media's Engineering News each day for the latest on the people and companies shaping the energy transition and South African industry. Keep your finger on the critical minerals pulse by visiting Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. For deeper insight, subscribe to the Engineering News and Mining Weekly magazine, out on Fridays. Creamer Media, current, credible, comprehensive.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses, and coughs. It's time to live, work, play, and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetacid, Levogex, and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a shift worker making his way home and daydreaming about his next career move, his next chapter. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a possible light bulb moment that could change someone's life. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12:27 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener, on 702 and Cape Talk. Quite a few messages coming through here about that announcement of the political killings task team and Nasispan. Mandy, so now we have another less than useless commission where absolutely no action will happen. The police issue exposes just how deep and extensive corruption and theft run in the ANC and the government. Mandy, the original documents or copies of the documents that have been handed over to the Madlanga Commission, in the meantime, do the investigations of those cases continue? That's my point, right? So what happens to the dockets? Do they get investigated or no? And it is the copies, not the originals. So thank you very much for those WhatsApp voice notes.
702. 702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
So as part of the G20 that, of course, we hold the presidency for the year. So there's a big conference in November where all the heads of state come. But before that, we're seeing all the other kind of mini summits. So there's the media summit, which is the M20 that's been happening. The J20 is the Judiciary 20 summit. That's taking place in Joburg today, discussing themes of public trust in the judiciary, etc., etc. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, is covering that for us. Khomotso, good afternoon to you. What is the intention of the J20? What are they discussing?
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, at the J20 summit, the jurists from all parts of the world, particularly G20 countries, set to come here, convene, and to discuss the challenges that are experienced by the judiciaries in the different countries. This year, there's a particular focus on innovation and technology that Chief Justice Mandy Samaya had been speaking about in her opening address, really just detailing how, there's a lot of movement in the way of technology around AI as well, and how the judiciary can keep up without compromising its core principles and its independence. Let's take a listen to what she's had to say.
The provincial.
We are cautioned to approach this transformation with a balanced perspective, one that enthusiastically acknowledges AI's profound potential to enhance efficiency, reduce crippling backlogs, and lower the cost of legal services. It has been quite exciting to discover that tools for legal research, transcription, and automated administrative functions can free judges to focus on the core human element of adjudication. But while the use of this tool has the potential to be a powerful ally in legal practice, recent cases have also revealed how its misuse can undermine both professional ethics and the integrity of our jurisprudence.
Khomotso, is there an intention to walk away from this J20 with some kind of unified approach to how the judiciary operates?
Absolutely. So what's been happening now is that there's a plenary session where the different countries or the representatives from the different countries are really just addressing and sharing the ideas around how they're approaching the challenges in their countries. And then at some point in the program, provision has been made for resolutions to be made. And I do believe that at that point, that's when, they'll bring all the ideas together with the way forward.
Khomotso, thank you so much. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter who is attending the J20, that's the Judiciary 20 taking place in Joburg. 12:31, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Resource planning is underway with Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia for the establishment of a political killings task team in Gauteng. This has been confirmed by Gauteng Premier Banyazali Sufi. That team will be tasked with looking into politically related deaths from as far back as 2010. The National Consumer Commission has announced another recall of some popular vehicles due to safety concerns. The brands affected include some Ford Mustangs and Transit custom vehicles, the BMW X3 G45 series, some VW Polos, as well as the Hino 500 series buses. The Commission says it was notified by suppliers about various defaults in several cars. And Chief Justice Mandy Samaya has told international delegates that South Africa is on the path to judicial independence. South Africa is hosting the Constitutional Courts and Supreme Court Summit in Sandton today, where heads of judiciaries of G20 nations are in attendance. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Tolagele Mganga. The 15-player Proteas women's squad that will compete at the World Cup has been announced. Laura Waldbad will captain the team, which includes the experienced quartet of Chloe Tryron, Marzan Kap, Ayabonga Kaka and Sune Luce. Tasman Brits, Nadine de Klerk and Nondumiso Shangase have also been selected, while South Africa will begin their campaign against England on the 3rd of October. For the men, they claimed a comprehensive 7-wicket win over England in the first of 3 ODIs. Keshav Maharaj took 4 for 22 as the Proteas won a third 50-over game in a row against their hosts.
I think the plans have been really good, but I think the way in which we execute our plans has been that much more encouraging. The guys have been putting a lot of work, not just in the series now or prior to the series, but obviously prior to Australia. There's been some good camps that have been sort of implemented and, working with the bowling coach and things like that. It's simple plans, but it's nice to see that the sort of mindset change towards it has come together as a bowling unit.
And Bafana will play both their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the Free State Stadium following a successful pitch inspection. South Africa clash with Lesotho on Friday and then return to take on Nigeria next Tuesday. Duduzi Shabalala has earned his first call-up to the national team and discussed what he needs to do to remain regular.
To be where I am now, I think the next step is to work hard and retain my position in this team, because obviously it's not easy. There are players who have more experience and I can say are better than us, and we need to show and we need to play our part as players, and so that we can be here even in the next games.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading towards Soweto, leaving Rudaport, there's an accident scene in Bosmont. This is after Albertina Sisulu, causing heavy delays. Also heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Main Reef Road between Production and Anderson in Devlin, traveling towards El Dorado Park. We still have those roadworks slowing down traffic. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Germiston, traveling towards Bedford View, expect heavy delays. N3 northbound between the Elands Interchange and Geldenhuys. Also heading towards the Bedford View area. That's coming from Edenville. Traffic is a bit sluggish on the R21 westbound between Edenville Road and the Giluli's Interchange. While in the Mother City, we still have those roadworks causing heavy delays on FW de Klerk Boulevard outbound. This is heading towards Lower Church, and also roadworks slowing down traffic. R300 southbound This is heading towards Van Riebeek Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Ah, choices. We love them. Like a Jator dealer asking you, so which one do you like? And you're like, do you like the bold, stylish, head-turning dashing from 4,999 per month? Or the adventurous 7-seater X70 Plus from 5,199 per month? Both. Because yes, choices. Book your test drive at jator.coza and make an excellent choice either way. T's and C's apply. Jator. Drive your future.
Mzansi, your backyard just got better. Explore more for less because the Great South African Sale is coming with up to 50% off travel deals. From the breathtaking scenery to a beach picnic, camping in the wild, or the thrill of gussie vibes. There's something for everyone. Book from 8 to 14 September 2025. Visit shortleft.co.za to book and travel later. After all, it's your country. Enjoy it, because nothing's more fun than a short left. Hashtag TravelWise Mzansi. T's and C's apply.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy and the team. With regards to Nasi Spani, the Premier suggested that people will be trained to become plumbers, even to become cleaners. So the question here is why the Premier cannot hire those who are already qualified as plumbers or as cleaners, because they are there already on the job market. Unfortunately, they are unemployed. Thanks, David.
Hi, Mandy. Regarding those dockets, why are police dockets not centralized or digitized on a central computer system, cloud, and whoever has got clearance can access them and they can't be changed because you leave a trail? Why can they not be digitized? I don't understand it. I was at my local police station the other day and they filled out books and forms and I had to sign that, no computer in sight. Surely we cannot go on this way. Thanks, Joe.
Isn't this the most obvious thing, right? I walked into a detective's office and there were piles and piles and piles of dockets. And I have no idea how they understood what was going on there and keeping track of that. And it's just a really, really an illustration of the kind of chaos the police are dealing with. On Nasispan, again, why don't we just hire the people that are qualified to do this? Because we have such high unemployment. On the WhatsApp line, Sawubona, Mandy, Nasispan positions are reserved for ANC Youth League, volunteers and family members, not unemployed SA citizens. Jabulisile from Midrand. But this is exactly it. And then they get upset when we say it's electioneering, when we say that it's a local government election. And this is exactly what happened before the national election when Nasispan was launched. This is Nasispan Reloaded. Sorry, let me make sure that I say it properly. Nasispan Reloaded. And I think it's electioneering. I think it's politicking, as Sidi Madia would have said. And that's exactly what's happening here. And you can't blame Gauteng residents for being cynical about it.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
What also happening today is an oversight visit by the Gauteng MEC for Human Settlements, Tasneem Motara, who is visiting hostels in Johannesburg. So the Johannesburg MMC, the councillor, also joining Motara. They're taking a look at George Goch Hostel, MBA Hostel, Marion Roberts Hostel, JP Hostel, and Denver Hostel. All of this is part of the fact that the government earmarked R500 billion billion rand to renovate the 6 hostels under its control. Authorities saying that this will help deal with a housing crisis in the province. Tando Ngobo, EWN reporter, joining us now to speak about this. Tando, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. Tell us about what exactly these officials are doing as they visit these hostels.
Hi, Mandy. Well, they're conducting their oversight visits on these projects that they started on these hostels in 2023. So they have a 3-year contract rather of revitalization and refurbishing these 6 hostels. But today they took a look at 5 of them, and they started in George Hawk Hostel, where there was quite a lot of renovation that was done and near completed at that hostel, Mandy. One that was significant that we could see and one that they mentioned was a huge problem in terms of sewer and water in George Hawk. You can see that the pavement around the area was almost completed, and the MEC explained to us that is because they have completely managed to change the sewer lines and the water system underground, which was a major problem because that hostel housed a lot of people and it didn't have capacity anymore. We also went over to see Denver Hospital and Murray and Roberts as well, but one that was a major that faces major problems that we're currently at right now, Mandy, is JP Hostel. So and it currently houses 15,000 people, and the conditions are just terrible. The structures are dilapidated, but we can see scaffolding. We can see some painting going on. They are trying to fix the cracks on the structures. They've also begun with the sewer problem and the water crisis. I spoke to some of the residents that stay here, that have been living here for quite some years. They're saying that they're glad and they're excited that some of the blocks have started to get running water inside the blocks, because they would usually have to go outside and source water outside with buckets and bring them into the hostels. But they're saying that since the start of the project, some of the blocks have now running water, but obviously still a major long way to go. Most of the blocks don't have tiles. Most of those blocks still don't have electricity. So that is something that the MEC, the councillor of this ward 61 here in JP Hostel, is saying that they're trying to work towards to finish by next year, Mandy.
Tando, we know, of course, that the conditions of these hostels have been problematic for some time. They also become havens for criminals, or at least that's the kind of idea that is perceived by the public. What is being done in order to not just clean them up literally, but clean them up figuratively as well?
Right. So here at JP Hostel, they have the councillor working with departments and other entities. They've managed to install cameras surrounding the block of hostels, Mandy. And when we spoke to some of the residents, asking them about the crime rate, because we know that this one in particular had a really high crime rate, the residents are saying that, they are taking care of the cameras themselves to ensure that there's no longer any of those shooting incidents that were right here, no longer of those robbery incidents that were really right here. So that's one of the changes that they've seen here that's major is the fact that the cameras have really helped in terms of reducing crime. We know that they're working towards enabling cameras in putting cameras rather in the other hostels as well. Seeing as how a hostel as big as this is able to take care of them and honor them, and the impact that it's brought, the positive impact that it's brought in reducing crime, they're thinking of implementing it as well in the other hostels, Mandy.
Tando, thank you so much. Tando Ngobo, EWN reporter, speaking to us there. So the Gauteng MEC for Human Settlements, Tasneem Ouattara, other officials as well, visiting these hostels. Renovations, as you heard there from Tando, underway in 5 of the 6 hostels, and a huge amount of money being spent, R500 million to renovate these 6 hostels. They really need to improve the quality of living, the standard of living, but the crime issue also is something that they have to address.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays 12 to 1 p.m.
The mayor of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Kakaza, holding a media briefing today focusing on the state of governance in the city of Ekurhuleni, also giving an update on the attempts to recover 2 billion rand revenue shortfall. Let's speak now to Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter who's following that briefing. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Tell us about what was said at this briefing.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Yes, of course, the media briefing by the mayor of Ekurhuleni today focused mainly on the financial stability of the municipality. You'd remember that a few months ago at EWN, we broke the story of the fact that the municipality had lost more than 2 billion rand in revenue. And this happened because there was an issue with the municipality's billing system where about 1,600 homes in the municipality were being underbilled for electricity, while some of them had their outstanding balances wiped off the system, and that led to the 2 billion rand revenue shortfall. And the municipality has been trying to recover that money. You'd remember that a CIO, Chief Information Officer, was suspended for negligence. So the municipality gave an update today with regards to that. They say from that 2 billion rand that was lost due to this billing issues, the municipality has so far recovered 300 million rand. So they still have a lot of money to recover. 300 million rand when you compare it to 2 billion rand is a drop in the ocean. The municipality says they've already contacted the households who still need to pay the municipality, back pay the municipality for the money that they were undercharged or the balance that was erased off of their system. So the process is still ongoing, but so far they've only recovered 300 million rand of the 2 billion rand. Another thing that the mayor has been speaking about is the financial situation. Last year, you would have seen reports that around this time last year, the city had only 600,000 rand in their bank balance. And the mayor reported that today, just a year later, they have double that, 1.2 billion rand in their account balance. And he says that this is an improvement when it comes to revenue collection. And according to him, it shows that the city is spending its money, is using its money effectively as compared to last year when they were quite broke. So let's take a listen to what the mayor had to say.
It's quite a turnaround that is necessary. So it means residents can now have confidence that their meters are being read correctly, are being billed accurately, and fairly to service for the services that they use. Secondly, we instituted decisive consequence management, which resulted in the suspension of the CIO. And there is currently an ongoing disciplinary hearing taking place. And we must indicate that it doesn't matter the attempts to avert the DC. They've gone to court more than 2 times. They've lost with cost. The DC is sitting, and everybody must actually answer in that platform. We're hoping that soon we will get to the results.
Alpha, what about political stability in Ekurhuleni? What did you have to say about that? Because we know, of course, that's a bit of a wobbly coalition going on there.
Yes, for context, the municipality is led by a multi-party coalition government, which involves the ANC, it involves the EFF, and a number of other smaller political parties in the municipality. And the ANC and the EFF, which are the biggest parties in the coalition, have been having a number of issues over the past few months. We've seen, Mandy, in council that they've been fighting physical squabbles, physical altercation between EFF and ANC councillors. So the mayor said they have resolved some of their issues with the EFF. He believes that the coalition is stable. He believes that they'll finish their term come November 2026. But of course, we know the EFF holds a different view. I mean, the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, has been saying quite a number of times that he is not a fan of the mayor, the ANC mayor, Dr. Kakaza. So from his point of view, the coalition is quite stable. But I know we know that from the EFF they have a different opinion.
Alpha, thank you very much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter. He's at that briefing in Ekurhuleni. The Ekurhuleni mayor, Dr. Xhakaza, holding that media briefing, speaking there about the recovery of the 2 billion rand revenue shortfall, speaking also about the city's programs around that, also on the coalition as well in Ekurhuleni.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
12:50 on the Midday Report. Keith, I thought you only did sport, but this is a great question. And I feel like it's remiss of me not to know this answer. But hello, Mandy, who was George Goch, who after the hostel was named? So I had to go and have a look, and there's not actually a lot, and I should know this, so please educate me. I think he was a landlord. He was one of the mining bosses in the early 1900s. The only reason that I know the name is because of the name of the hostel, and also that it was a Zuma. And Eusebius always used to say, Tito Wase George Goch. Is that right? So who was George Goch? Does anybody know more about him? Educate us, please. Good question, Keith.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
Unfold extraordinary with the brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 5G 512 gig. Get it on a 6 gig Red Core plan from 1,749 per month over 36 months and double your storage with Vodacom, Zanzi's winning 5G network. Enhance your deal. Add 149 extra per month and get the Galaxy Watch 8 eSIM and Galaxy Buds 3. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Hey besties, welcome to my kitchen tour, or should I say my new walk-in wardrobe. Over here we have the pantry, now home to my jeans and shirts, all color-coded. Oh, and the air fryer, literally the perfect place for my makeup brushes. And who would have thought, the oven is the place to store my handbags.
Who needs a kitchen? Simply spend 200 Rand or more and you could win Simply Asia for a year. T's and C's apply. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. You know, our politicians think that everybody is a fool. All right, all along, Panyaza has been quiet about Nasi Spani. Now, because we're going to the elections next year, now here's a Nasi Spani again. And remember, this Nasi Spani, there are guys who are trained, and majority of them are unemployed. So this is something that has to do with the elections, really. And we are not fools. Taru from Diploof.
Hi Mandy, it's Rudolph here from Alberton. I want to find out, they've moved the dockets up and down, up and down. What's the chain of command? What's the safety of that? Has those dockets been tampered with or not? Is it going to be admissible in court? What's going to happen with those dockets? Because you can't move it and keep a chain of command and know exactly what's going on in that docket.
Yeah, this is the question, right? And that's why we need to digitize these things, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense that we've got these pieces of paper floating around and copies and what. This is something actually that Jeff Wicks has been speaking about in light of what's been happening with the investigation into Babita Deokaran's death, is that we need a digitized process of police dockets, but also of tender processes as well, that we shouldn't just be having everything done on paper, because then it becomes super shady. And I think that there's no reason. We've seen what's happened at Home Affairs. It's very possible to do, and we need to make it happen.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
12:54 on the Midday Report, and there have been some recalls of some vehicles in South Africa. The National Consumer Commission notifying the affected consumers about the recalls. I'll go through some of the list. It's Ford Mustang, Ford Transit Custom, BMW X3, the G45, so I think it's the hybrid, the Hino 500 series buses as well. But let's speak to Prudence Moelua, who's the head of complaints and investigations at the NCC. Prudence, good afternoon to you. Just correct me there. Did I get that? Oh, and I think there was a Volkswagen Polo as well that I didn't mention. Or did I?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, that's about the complete list of the latest issued notifications.
And are they all for the same reason, or are they for different reasons?
No, they're for different reasons. As you may know, as and when manufacturers pick up a fault with any of their vehicles or any of their products in general, they have a responsibility to notify the National Consumer Commission of the recall. They have to recall the product, number one, to fix it at no cost to consumers, and also inform the National Consumer Commission so that we can monitor the recall to make sure that they're doing all the right things, to make sure that the parts are replaced with the new parts, to make sure that it's a successful recall, in a sense, to make sure that all consumers affected are able to get that particular redress.
Okay, so if people are affected, where can they find out more detail of what is the concern here and what needs to happen?
Yeah, our statements are published on the NCC website, but I think the next logical thing to do is to get in touch with their service provider, the accredited dealership that they usually go to. As you can tell, most of them, I think, are cars that are still within warranty. They go back to the suppliers, booking the vehicle in terms of how they book them in for a normal service so that they can be fixed properly. So the first thing to do is get in touch with your accredited supplier that you normally go to when you take in your car for a service. Or you can also go to the website. Usually what they would have is a platform for recalls wherein various consumers can key in their VIN numbers to check if their vehicles are affected.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Prudence, thank you so much. Prudence Moelwa, the head of complaints and investigations at the National Consumer Commission, just explaining more detail there about the recalls of those vehicles.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
So Keith asked us a question. Who's George Goch that the hostel is named after? And I assumed I knew the answer because I should, and I didn't. So I was trying to Google, and I couldn't really find much. But some very, very useful people, colleagues, have been helping me, and you too, the listeners. Hi, Mandy. George Goch was the second mayor of Joburg. He was also responsible for bringing in Chinese immigrants. That's according to Lee. And then Andrew says the phrase "Tiko wa se George Goch" comes from South African township and Kasi slang to express utter disbelief. It used to be really, really well used by Eusebius McKaiser on this radio station. And then thank you to my colleague, Corinne Duplessis, who said, "You had me curious and I Googled. His name is in a song and there's a whole thesis about it. But I found this. The George Goch mine, owned by mining magnate George Goch, operated in Joburg from at least before the Boer War. Goch, I think we're supposed to call it the South African War now. Goch became the mayor of Johannesburg from 1904 to 1905, and a township on the eastern side of the city was also named for him. So there we go. That's who George Goch was. I'd love to read that thesis. Super interesting.
A man stand up. Point of order. Yes. Nkandla. Tix was a George Goch.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time.
Looking good.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a possible love story on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Midday Report.
Thank you very much for joining us. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk was brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. You always learn something here. Now you all know who George Goch is. And you all also know how to say, said George Goch. Thank you for listening. This Eyewitness News is brought to you by Lottoland. Lottoland changes lives. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Plans underway for Gauteng's political killings task team, and Chief Justice Maya says South Africa is close to judicial independence. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Resource planning is underway with acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia for the establishment of a political killings task team in Gauteng. This has been confirmed by Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi. The team will be tasked with looking into politically motivated deaths from as far as 2010. KwaZulu-Natal is currently the only province with such a task team, which was formed on the recommendation of the Moerane Commission of Inquiry, which identified the province as the country's hotbed for political killings. Speaking at a media briefing this morning, Lesufi says the planning will include the finalization of the task team's terms of reference.
This initiative represents a significant step forward, bolstering the fight against political violence, and the government of provincial unity support all these initiatives to ensure that there is peace and political tolerance in our province. We want to argue that within this political task team, issues related to taxi violence and the leadership of the taxi industry that has been killed in our province should not be excluded.
The National Consumer Commission has announced another recall of some popular vehicles due to safety concerns. The brands affected include some Ford Mustangs and Transit custom vehicles, the BMW X3 G45 series, some VW Polos and the Hino 500 series buses. This is the first recall this month following 6 others from previous months. The Commission says it was notified by suppliers about various defaults in several cars. Spokesperson Peto Ndaba urges affected motorists to take their vehicles in to the relevant dealerships.
Toyota informed the Commission that they are recalling their Hino 500 series buses. These buses were manufactured or made available from the 5th of July 2018 up until the 12th of August 2025. The issue there, they say these buses may have been manufactured with a drag link that was not target correct.
Chief Justice Mandy Wiener has told international delegates that South Africa is on the path to judicial independence. South Africa is hosting the Constitutional Courts and Supreme Court Summit in Sandton today, where heads of judiciaries of G20 nations are attending. In her address, Maya highlighted the challenges faced by South Africa's judiciary, including achieving complete independence. As things stand, the judiciary does not have complete control over its budget, not allowing the Office of the Chief Justice to lead admin and infrastructure projects in the country's courts. While addressing delegates, Maya pointed out the need for an independent judiciary.
When funding is misused or delayed, our courts and the people who rely on them are left vulnerable, and the constitutional promise of justice is compromised. The consequences of these challenges are also often deadly. An example of this is the tragic killing of Dingalomoya Chinzo, a witness in a murder trial who was gunned down in broad daylight inside the Wynberg Magistrates Court in Cape Town just in April.
About 500 foreign nationals facing eviction from 2 sites in Cape Town say all they want is a safe place to live. The occupants at Wingfield and Paint City were relocated there during the COVID-19 pandemic after being evicted from Green Market Square in the CBD. The foreign nationals, mostly from the DRC as well as Burundi, have a month before the matter is heard in the Western Cape High Court in October. Carlo Peterson reports.
DRC national Emeka Mazimwe is living at the Wingfield site in Maitland for 6 years. He, along with 150 foreign nationals, have been housed in a massive tent opposite a cemetery. Mazimwe has been in South Africa for 16 years. He says foreign nationals here are hoping for more assistance from the United Nations High Commission for Refugees.
What we're demanding is a help. We seek it from UNHCR. But the government is trying to force them to put themselves inside to show how powerful they are. But we're not fighting the government because you can't fight the government.
Cape Town Mayor Jordan E. Lewis says the occupants have refused all offers of assistance by the state and the UNHCR. A court process to decide their fates will commence on the 8th of October. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, at the Wingfield site in Maitland.
And Sudan's government has blamed the rise in respiratory illnesses on fires as well as carbon emissions. An investigation was launched after public concern over numerous diseases in the country, while the country contends with an ailing healthcare system devastated by the conflict. The health ministry says it has been conducting field tests and forensic reviews since April, when the army regained control of the capital from the paramilitary rapid support forces. Investigations into chemical contamination come just 2 months after the United States imposed sanctions over chemical weapon allegations. It did not provide details of where or when the alleged chemical weapon attacks had taken place. Gold is trading at $3,535.89 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.64 to the pound, 20.54 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.14 a barrel.
Edenvale heading towards Bedfordview. Traffic remains sluggish. R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Giluli's interchange, while in Germiston, bumper-to-bumper traffic heading towards Bedfordview on the N3 northbound from the Elance interchange to Geldenhuys, and in Bosmont traveling towards Soweto. We still have that accident scene N1 southbound. This is near Albertina Sisulu, causing heavy delays from Gordon Road.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN: resource planning is underway with Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia for the establishment of a political killings task team in Gauteng.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
The US Powerball is making headlines again. There was another rollover on the US Powerball. Tomorrow morning's draw at 5 a.m. is worth 22.9 billion rand. That is a lot of zeros. Don't just wish. Stand a chance to be the winner of the US Powerball. Choose your 6 numbers and place your bet on lottoland.co.za. Lottoland changes lives.
No person under the age of 18 years permitted to gamble. Lottoland South Africa is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. National Responsible Gambling Program toll-free council line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Hello, very good afternoon to you. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and I'm Jane Dutnam in for Relebohile Maboja, and it's good to have you with me. Now, every single day, I'm reminded of something I should have done, but didn't. Every single day. When I was living in Qatar, I watched the Spanish and the French locals, those really blessed with a hot gene, playing paddle like their lives depended on it. They were ripped and they were joyful. And right next to many of those courts was my dream gym, F45. A DJ spinning boom boom beats while you fly through a 45-minute workout. That's anything but boring. And I loved it. I lived it. And I swore when I got back to South Africa, I'd bring both home, paddle and F45. But did I? No, I didn't. We're surrounded by paddle courts in particular, and I've got a list of those type of moments. Great ideas, good intentions, and absolutely nothing to show for them. So I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment like that? An idea you didn't act on? And why didn't you? What stopped you? Or maybe you did follow through. Why, how, what changed? Call me, text me. Let's talk about these things that we start and never finish. Maybe your story can help unblock someone else and maybe even me. In our finance feature after 1:30, smart ways to save on your retirement. Are you retired and financially stable? If not, how are you preparing for your retirement? Then at 2 o'clock, we have a masterclass on women rising in wealth, the private banking shift. And this interview explores the growing influence of women in private banking. At Standard Bank, 42% of their private banking clients are now women. Many of them are based here in Gauteng. Are you one of them? Are you a man who has a female other? And what have you seen that works with them, that they're doing well? What role do you, if you have any sort of role, have in their investing? And I hope as a man it looks and feels good to see women like this soaring in their wealth. And remember, we'd love to hear from you, so please do call. It is a chat show, and I want to hear about what's worked for you, ideas-wise or otherwise, or any of these topics. Our phone number is 011 883 0702. You can tweet me at Jane Dutton or at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons. You can email us on 702 Afternoons at 702.co.za or WhatsApp me your messages or your voice messages on 072 702 1702. And you can always send us messages if you're watching on YouTube.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
So we've all had those moments, I should imagine, when a thought pops into your head, maybe an idea, a comeback. I'm so good at those comebacks. You leave a party and you're like, I wish I'd said that. Or even a bold move, but never followed through with it. I mean, what's something that you thought about doing, but didn't act on? I mean, even, in your mind, you go, that's a good idea. Should I do it? Does it seem too hard to do? What processes do I have to go through? And when I was saying, every day I'm reminded of something that I didn't do. I mean, there are paddle courts absolutely everywhere you look. And can you imagine? And I've been back now, I think, for like 7 years. I would be sitting on some boat somewhere with my own private chef and crew and helicopter, possibly, if I'd done that. What have you done? And then also you see everyone, and it's such an uplifting thing, something like paddle, because you see people coming off the courts. I'm also a paddle player, so I can attest to this. And you feel fantastic. You've met other people, so it's something that's if I acted on bringing paddle courts, I would have made some good money, and I would have got people healthier, and I would have got people happier, and I would have got people to expand their social group by meeting others. So tell me. What is it? What have you acted on? If you think about the person, the designer, and hopefully that name will come to me. This is one of those things when you wish you'd said something at a party. Probably as soon as I take my headphones off and walk out of here, I'll go, Eureka, that's the person who did it. But the person who thought of and designed the paper clip. Small, seemingly insignificant, but what an impact it's made on the world. Here's another one of my brilliant ideas that I didn't act on. Many years ago when I was living in London, so that's about 25 years ago, I thought of a kids' watch and actually calling it Kids' Watch. And a kid would put on this watch with a GPS that would give you all the information that you need, where they are, etc., etc. And I started going into the detail. I mean, it's not, an idea is not something simple that you just go, hey, I'm going to do this and off you go. You've got to look at copyright. You've got to look at what's been there before. You've got to look at design. And anyway, guess what? I didn't do that either. And here we are today. I think there are a few apps out there where you can track your kid, or your kid can track you. And in today's world, something like that is incredibly important. And it's not just me. There are extremely famous people who've had brilliant ideas that they didn't implement. I mean, Steve Jobs, for example, while not a complete failure, I think it's an underestimation of his success. The Apple Newton, released in the early 1990s, was an early attempt at a personal digital assistant that was considered just too expensive and ahead of its time, ultimately impacting its commercial success. So come on, hit the dial, give me a call, tell me what's worked for you and what hasn't. Let's listen to these important messages and then let's talk.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Hollywood Bet Aziz Shege. Be in the Game is back for the new soccer season. Up for grabs is a share of 4 million rand in prizes, including the Toyota Rumion, Corolla Cross, Hilux 2.4 GD6 DC, and a Starlet Cross. To qualify, bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures for your chance to score big. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Mzansi, your backyard just got better. Explore more for less because the Great South African Sale is coming with up to 50% off travel deals. From the breathtaking scenery to a beach picnic, camping in the wild, or the thrill of Gussie vibes, there's something for everyone. Book from 8 to 14 September 2025. Visit shortleft.co.za to book and travel later. After all, it's your country. Enjoy it, because nothing's more fun than a short left. Hashtag TravelWise Mzansi. T's and C's apply.
702 and corporates that care with Ekwele are talking about Ekwele's commitment to uplifting communities across South Africa.
From Ekwele's side, we get a lot of requests for water. I think that access to clean drinking and safe water has become a daily challenge for many people. So we get a lot of requests. We really deliver hundreds and thousands of bottles every year. Recently, we saw a need for a more longer-term solution, more sustainable water solutions. When we turned 25, we delivered 25 water tanks to 25 communities all over South Africa. And it was really heartwarming to see what a difference a tank can make. The first tank we put up was at a school in Groudville and KwaZulu-Natal, and the principal told us now they don't need to close their school anymore because sometimes they had to close school early because they didn't have water.
Ekwele, making a positive impact one drop at a time. Learn more at ekwele.co.za. 702, let's walk the talk. Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
So I'm Jane Dutton and I'm asking you if you have ever come up with an idea, a thought, and haven't acted upon it, an idea that you have acted on it and made a success, or it was an absolute disaster. I'd love to hear what it is that you were able to do in order to push it on, because for someone like, I have ideas, whether it comes to story ideas, program ideas, ideas to make money. I have lots of them. And when it comes to those money-making ideas, it feels that there's always something that's just holding me back. So maybe if you could share your story with me, we could unplug what that is. We've got a voice note about financial products. Let's listen to it.
Hi, Jane. Well, my idea was for certain financial products, which I was still working on the idea, putting it together, and just, trying to polish it and get intellectual property rights and all that stuff sorted until one of the banks in South Africa actually released this very same product. And I saw this whilst lying in bed on a Saturday morning, just scrolling through, I don't know, whatever it was, Google Discover or something, and boom, there were the products. My heart was crushed, to say the least. My heart was absolutely crushed.
Thanks for that, Lwazi. I mean, yes, you see it and then you realize that your idea was a fantastic idea. And why didn't you get moving on it a lot quicker? And the fact that somebody did it, it confirms that you were on the right path. Oh, I want to hear more stories like that. Have you come up with any other ideas? And it doesn't have to be a business idea. I mean, it's things like sending a text to somebody that you wish you hadn't, and what that impact was. Now, this is in my youth, so don't judge me. But I was seeing somebody, and it was a time when mobile phones were relatively new, and I messaged a flirty text to somebody else. And yes, and it was that didn't go down. That didn't go down too well. So I'm just wondering if you've got any stories like that, singing or dancing in public. Did you wish that you could have done that? Have you done that, and how did it feel? Karen has sent a message saying, I have good ideas. I'm nursing. I had a dream to work in London. I actually did. So it can be done. It was an awesome experience. Worked at the Portland Hospital. So do follow your dreams. Absolutely. That is so important. I mean, you speak to so many people who say, visualizing something helps you formulate it, helps you put it into practice, put it into action. So is that something you do? And I know that you've got those boards where you will, for example, you want a house and a dream board, and you put a picture of the board on and some of your ideas how you're going to get there. So it's not as shooey-dooey as it sounds. It really is a way of focusing yourself to get there in the first place. Joy has sent us a message about baking.
Hi, Jane. I trust you well. Thanks for the great show, as always. I tried my best. I'm a pensioner, and I tried my best to bake bran muffins, all different flavors, and go and sell it at the corner in the area that I live in, Lenasia, and, try and sell it. But the saddest part was that I was very proud of myself at, what I've done. But the saddest part was I actually